for your math today, we are learning Roman numerals. Now, Roman numerals, until you see how easy it is, you can think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But it's really pretty simple. So I'm going to, basically you just have to memorize what each letter stands for. So there are there's 7 letters that we will be memorizing. And then there's just 3 rules that you have to remember with those 7 letters. So our 7 letters that we are going to be memorizing is I. The letter I just equals 1. That should be pretty easy to remember. The letter V equals 5. And I remember that because of the V in 5. So that was pretty easy to remember. The letter X equals 10. And I don't know why, but X and 10 just remind me of each other. So that one was easy for me to remember. Then we have the letter 50. So 50 is, so L is 50. After the number 50, we have the letter C, and C is 100. After 100, we have the letter D, and D is 500. After 500, we have the letter, is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have the letter M, and M equals 1,000. So out of these letters, we are going to learn how to write Roman numerals. So the 3 rules that you have to remember is you can never use the same letter more than 3 times in a row. You can use it several times in the same number, but not more than 3 times in a row. I, or X, or C. Cannot be any more than 3 times in a row. So if you look, the letter I is 1, so this would be 3. The letter X is 10, so this would be 10, 20, 30. The letter C is 100, so that would be 100, 200, 300. So you can't use more than 3 of the same letters in a row at the same time. Well, you might be saying, well, Ms. McDermott, how am I going to write the number 4? Or how am I going to write the number 40? Or how am I going to write the number 400? I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Just stay with me, okay? All right, so that's the first thing you have to remember. We cannot have more than the same letter 3 times in a row. The next thing you have to remember is that when we have a larger number like C, that's 100, and then a smaller number like X, and then another smaller number like 5, and then another smaller number like I, when we have numbers and it starts from the biggest number and goes down and keeps going down, down, that's 110, 5, and 1. We know we're just going to add those digits together for our number. So this would be 100, 10 and 5 and 1, 10, 15, 16. So this number would be 116. Okay? Let's say we had the number D, or the letter D, and then we had the letter L, and then we had the letter X, and then 2 I's. So we have a 500, we have a 50, we have a 10, we have a 1 and a 1. So we started from our bigger number and we just kept going down, so we're going to add it together. 500 plus 50 is 550, plus 10 is 560, plus 2 is 562. So as long as we start with the larger number and our numbers just get smaller and smaller and smaller as we go down, we're just going to add each digit together with its value. Let's say we have the number VI. So we have a 5 and a 1. 5 and 1 is 6. So that's how we would write 6. Let's say we had a VII. 5 plus 1 is 7. So we have 7. So as long as the numbers are continually getting smaller, we're just going to add them together. But now, back to your question I know you asked. How do we write 4 or 30 or 400? I'm going to show you that now. So this is what happens. Remember, as long as our numbers start, and whatever the starting number is, they get smaller and smaller and smaller all the way down, then we can add. But this is what happens if that doesn't happen. If I have the letter X, I equals 1 and X equals 10. Did I start with a larger number and go down smaller? No, I didn't. So when that happens, then we know we have to subtract. So 10, we go to our bigger number. 10 minus 1 is 9, so Ix equals 9. Now if I have IV, did I start with a bigger number and keep going down to smaller numbers? No, I started with a 1. My next number is a 5. So when you have that smaller number in front of a bigger number, you know you're going to have to subtract that smaller number from that bigger number. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Now let's look at XL. Now what is X? X is 10. What is L? 50. Did we start larger to go down? Not at all. So what are we going to have to do with that 10? We're going to have to subtract it from 50. So 50 minus 10 is 40. So that is how we would write 40. Look at this one. We have C and we have D. What is C again? C is 100. What is D again? D is 500. Did we start with our larger number and go down? No, we didn't. So what are we going to have to do with that 100? We are going to have to subtract it from our 500. So 500 minus 100 is 400. Okay? So now let's put this in the middle of a larger number. Let's say we had I'm trying to make it a little bit where we have a lot of thinking to do here. Okay, so we have MM. What is MM? M's are what? 2,000. So we have 2,000 right there. Then we have a C and a D, so we have an M. And then we went from C, which is 100, to D, which is 500. And it's not going to work because we went from bigger to lower, back up to bigger. We can't do that. So we know that that CD, it has to be together. And 500 minus 100, D is 500. C is 100. 500 minus 100 is 400. So then we have, so now we're at 500, so that's a D. And we went down to an X, we're looking good. Oh no, but now we're going back up to 50. So that X and 50 are going to be together. We got to figure out that digit. X is 10, L is 50. 50 minus 10 is 40. All right, so now we had an L and we went down to an I. We're looking good. Oh no, we went back up to a 5. So from 1 to 5, we went back up again. So those two digits have to be together. And this is 1, this is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So this number would be 2,444. Okay? And it takes practice. The more you do it, the quicker things come to you and you make it happen, okay? Go ahead and look at page 149. If I was you, I would refer back to page 149 because those Roman numerals are up there in that top box, that I equals 1 and V equals 5 and X equals 10. All of that is up there in that top box. Go ahead and look at section 1. It says write the correct Roman numeral for each of the following Arabic numerals. So Roman numeral 3 is I. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Going straight across, Roman numeral 19. For Roman numeral 19, we're going to start with an X because that's 10, right? X is 10. So how are we going to say 10 plus 9? We don't have a 9 here, so what are we going to do? IX. Okay? Because that'll be 10 minus 1 and that'll be 9, and 10 and 9 is 19. Okay? So XIX is 19. Letter C, how are we going to do 7? V is 5, II, 5, 6, 7. Letter D, 24. XX, that's our 20. And how do we do 4? IV, 5 minus 1. XXIV is 24. Number 4, we have IV, 5 minus 1. Letter F, we have 30. How are we going to do 30? 10 plus 10 plus 10, XXX. Letter G, how are we going to do 13? It'd be 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So XIII. Letter H, how are we going to do 29? Remember how we did 9 for 19? Look up there. How did we do 9 for 19? We had 10, and then we had IX for our 9. So for 29, we'll have XX, and then IX, 10, 20, 9. Number 10, just an X. And then letter J, we have 36. So we'll have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1. So XXXVI is 36. Look at section 2. Write the correct Arabic numeral for these Roman numerals. So we have XIII. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13. Going straight across, MXC. Remember, M is 1,000. And then we have XC. So that's 10. This is 100. So 100 minus 10 is 90. So our number would be 1,090. Letter C, we have XIX. So we have X. Then we have IX. Remember what that IX is? 10 minus 1. So it's 9. So X. So 10 plus 9 equals 19. Where are we at? I lost my place. Oh, letter D. We have CCCXLI. So our CCC is 300. You can put a line under that and write 300 under your 3 C's. Our XL. Okay, so we have 300. Our XL, so we went from hundreds to 10 to 50. So we went down and back up, so we know we're going to have to subtract here. 50 minus 10 is 40, and then your 1, so it's 341. Then we have II, that's 2. Then we have XLI. Remember what XL is? XLI. So we have 10, and then we're going up to 50. So that tells us we're going to have to subtract that 10 from 50. So 41, XLI, 41. Letter G, we have IX. So we have our smaller number in front of our larger number. So we'll have to subtract it. 10 minus 1 is 9. Letter H, we have XCV. Well, that just looks funny even to look at it, doesn't it? XCV. So we have 10, and then we have 100. So automatically we know those have to go together, and we are going to have to subtract. 100 minus 10 is 90, and our V is 5, so that would be 95. We have V for letter I. We have V, I. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8. And letter J, we have MDCXI. So this looks like we have 1,000, 500, 100, 10, and 1. So they're going all the way down, so there's no subtracting in this one. These are my favorite ones. So we have 1,000. 500 plus 100 is 600. 1,600. X and I is 11. So it'd be 1,611. All right, and like I said, the more you do that, the easier and easier to be. Like right now, you're probably having to really think hard about it, but the more practice we have, it'll just be more and more natural to do. All right, so that is all of your math for today.